My name is Thomas, but you can call me Tom. And a long time ago, I used to be a big Sonic fan. I played all the games, even the buggy and poorly written ones. But I swear, none of them can compare to this. This all started a few years ago when I finished playing Sonic Unleashed. My friend Kyle sent me an email along with a link. He wanted me to check out this weird Sonic-themed horror game. I ignored it for a few days because I thought it was just him messing with me. But after a few days, I decided to give it a shot. I clicked the link and it sent me to a Game Jolt page with a game called Sonic. It looked like a normal Sonic game, but I downloaded it anyway. But when I did, Kyle sent me another link. Look man, I know I told you had to check out this game, but I'm telling you now, please don't play this. And if you download it, delete it now. I don't know if there's some demonic stuff going on, but there's something looking for me. It has been for a while now. It chases me everywhere I go, and I'm freaking out, man. Look, if you have this game, please don't play it. I'll get you too. That was weird, I thought to myself. But I thought it was just Kyle playing a prank on me, like he always does. So I decided to give the game a shot. The game's intro played like normal, until the song ended, and the screen went black for 7 seconds. But I did manage to see what looked like 2 red dots in the position of Sonic's eyes. The screen then opened up on the main menu screen that looked like a blood-red sky with clouds in the shape of screaming people. And only 3 characters were on the screen: Tails, Knuckles, and Dr. Robotnik, which was weird to me because he shouldn't be a playable character, and the 3rd character should have been Sonic, but I decided to ignore the obvious red flag and just play the game. I selected Tails since he was the only one unlocked. And then I heard the most demonic laugh I've ever heard. That was something. Anyway, the game cuts to a level called HILL. I already thought that this was going to be a sad excuse of a fan game because they couldn't even spell Green Hill right. But I decided to press on. As I continued through Green Hill Zone, I stumbled upon dead animals. And Tails actually looked scared. So my hopes were up again. Maybe this game was actually going to be good. I kept going through Green Hill until I saw Sonic. He was facing the opposite end with his eyes closed, and he now had gray shoes. When Tails saw him, he started to run backwards. He looked scared, like he really wanted to get out of there. I had to force Tails to move closer to Sonic to see what would happen. Then Sonic perked his head up, and I saw his eyes. They were black with red pupils, and he stared dead at Tails. The screen then went black. Then big text appeared on his screen. Hello, do you want to play with me? The screen then cuts to Angel Island, but the place was on fire, and there was a lot of rubble everywhere. And Tails was looking at the screen and pointing forward, trying to tell me to run. But one thing that caught my attention was that Tails' name changed to Alan. I was surprised and a bit creeped out. Alan was the person who went missing a while ago. So seeing his name replace Tails really creeped me out a bit. But we then decided to go down the path, and the game's timer started. But it only went down to 10, and then it started to go down. But when there were 5 seconds left, Tails started to move faster, and then he ran out of time. The time over screen appeared, but then it changed to, ready or not, here I come. Sonic then appeared and started to chase Alan. He was floating with his arms stretched out forward, and he had wide smile on his face. Alan started running, but Sonic was getting closer and closer. And the closer he got, the wider his smile became. And blood started to pour out of his eyes. He was really excited. He knocked Alan on the ground. Alan couldn't get up, and the small red pixels made it look like his leg was broken. Then Sonic appeared, and he lunged at Alan, and the screen went black. But the sound of screaming and bones breaking still flowed through my headphones. Then text appeared on the screen. Too slow. Want to try again? The screen then cuts back to the main menu, and I was able to see Alan, now disfigured. His fur looked dark and dirty, and his eyes gouged out of his sockets. I was actually shocked and a bit amazed. I wasn't expecting a lot of effort on the designs of the character's death screen. I wasn't able to play as Tails again, of course, so I decided to play as Knuckles. And I heard the same laugh again. The screen then cuts to black, and the title of the level appears, You Can't Run. What the heck does that mean? I asked myself. But anyway, Knuckles was in a very dark place with only the flashes of lightning telling me we were near Eggman's base. Something I did notice was Knuckles started to look nervous. I thought that was odd for his character since I'd never seen a game where Knuckles expressed true fear. Maybe I haven't played all the Sonic games, I guess. As I got Knuckles to go forward and lightning kept striking, I saw something hovering over Knuckles, and then he started to look panicked. We kept going, and then we ran into Sonic again. Found you. Text appeared on the screen. And then, Knuckles was thrown into a fight with Sonic. But he looked really scared. And I noticed that his name changed to Dave. That kinda hit hard for me. Dave was a family friend, so when he went missing, it broke me. So you can imagine how I felt when I saw Knuckles replace his name. Either way, every time Dave threw a punch towards Sonic, he disappeared behind him. And every punch he made, he kept making gestures, mocking Dave for failing to hit him. And then Sonic kicked him to the ground and slammed his fist on Knuckles' gut. The screen cuts to black, but I could still hear the tearing of flesh and Dave coughing up blood. He then let out one final scream, and then there was silence. Text then appeared on the screen again. So many souls to play with. So little time. Wouldn't you agree? I just stood there, staring at the screen, wide-eyed. The screen then cuts back to the main menu, and I saw Dave. His right eye was ripped out, and he had a wide, broken smile. I had enough in the game, and I just wanted to leave. I tried turning the game off, but nothing happened. I tried turning off my computer. Nothing happened. I even unplugged the dang thing, but again, nothing happened. I then decided to just leave and take a nap and try again later. But when I fell asleep, I had the worst nightmare I've ever had. There were a lot of people, including Dave. They were all brutally disfigured, and all of them were crying and screaming for help, while others just wanted me to abandon the game and run. Until a giant, dark creature appeared, with red dots for eyes and sharp teeth. He was smiling at everyone, and they all quaked with fear. And then he turned his attention onto me. He then reached a giant arm down to grab me. But then I woke up. I decided to just end this mess. I went back to the computer and select Robotnik. I was gonna end this right now. Of course, the laugh played again, and the screen cuts to black. This level had no title, just 3 dots. Robotnik was in some type of dungeon with torches on the wall and curtains for some special effects. I had to move Eggman down a bunch of stairs. There was no way to go back as the stairs disappeared when Robotnik walked down them. He also kept looking back, like if something was following him. As I descended down the stairs, I thought to myself, how does this guy know who these people are? The disappearances were recent, so how did he find out that quick? As I was going through my thoughts, the walls in the background turned red, and lights of the torches turned blue. Robotnik even looked at me, gesturing for me to do something. But what could I do but keep going forward? We kept going down the stairs, and then the torches went out. I then noticed Robotnik's name changed to Paul. Paul was a man who went missing a few days ago, and I actually started to freak out. Kyle sent me this game the day Paul went missing. So, how did this game know about his disappearance? Then, Sonic appeared. He looked at Paul for a few minutes, and then he stretched his mouth wide open, and his jaw reached the floor. I don't know what happened, but my screen glitched, and then the words "Game Over" appeared. It glitched again, and made it back to the main menu, and I got to see what happened to Paul. His skin looked pale, his eyes were ripped out of his sockets, and his mustache was ripped off and inserted into his nostrils. But then, something happened. The power of my house went out, and it looked like my computer finally turned off. I was more relieved as I was freaked out, until I then saw those 2 red dots again. And then he appeared. His pixels faded away, and he looked way too realistic. He then wrote on my screen with blood, "I am God." He then laughed at me, and as unbelievable as this may sound, he launched out of my computer. I took several steps back, and I stood there paralyzed. He just stared at me. I thought I was gonna die, but he just walked up to me and wrote something on my forehead with blood. He then walked back to my computer, and before leaving, he said this:
"Keep this interesting for me."
He then inserted himself back into my computer, and my power went back on. I went to the bathroom and saw the word "servant" written on my forehead. It wouldn't come off. I then walked back to my computer, and he appeared on the screen again.
"Ready for another round?"
He asked me, and for some reason, I decided to play the game again. It's been years since that happened, and I've become obsessed. He is our ruler, our God, and I am his follower, his servant, the leader of the cult that worships his greatness. But my role isn't to find victims for him like the others. It's to play as them in his little game and make sure he is being entertained. Hearing the sound of their bones breaking and the intense screams used to fill me with fear, but now with so much joy. I've been playing the game for so long that I eventually started to talk to him, and I learned who he truly is. He is a powerful creature known as X, and he was born in a place called the Void, an empty world filled with nothing but darkness. And the reason why he went down to Earth is because he was obsessed with humanity and causing as much carnage and chaos as possible. He wanted to rule over us like a god, and he chose this world, and chose the world of Sonic because it was the first thing that caught his attention, to the point that he became obsessed with Sonic as a character. and he takes the souls of the people who play this game and drags them into his world where he can torture them forever. I then asked why he chose me, and he said that he saw potential in me, so he selected me as his follower. I was honored to be selected, and that I could make him happy by giving him victims to toy with. I then asked him about Kyle, and he smiled a warm smile. He told me that he killed Kyle a long time ago, and his soul is being tortured for all eternity. I actually felt happy, even though I'd thanked Kyle for opening my eyes to the power of X. I do admit that I do blame him for taking away my innocence. One thing I noticed is that there are these secret exits that appeared out of nowhere. I don't know where they came from. I didn't even make them, but I decided to brush it off. After all, X still knows where they are. One day, though, I guess he got bored of his old world, so he decided to up the ante. He warped the world into a more horrific sighting. The vegetation was dead. There were eyes and mouths everywhere, and X transformed himself into a more horrific creature. His teeth are rotten and decaying. He has X's in his eyes. His fur is gray, and he looks very pale. And he has a large X cut onto his chest. And he is much stronger than he was before. His world is beautiful, and he is brilliant for putting in all the effort to make it. Now I know I should tell you not to play the game, or else he might get you too, but I think it's better you do play it. After all, I'm pretty sure I convinced you to give it a try, did I not? And besides, our Lord loves having new friends to play with.